Hey, hello everyone. How you doing? Thanks for joining us in this session. It's been a long time coming, and I'm excited this is happening now. So we're Orukka. I'm the CEO and founder of Orukka. What is Orukka? It's a platform. It's a platform of payment rings. So payment rings, fitness rings, bracelets, all in one platform. Which I think the idea is to make sure we cater for our customers no matter what you do, because again, some people don't like wearing rings. We've got bracelets. Some people want their payments to not just be for payment but for fitness. We have that. So that means you have a plethora of, you know, fitness rings, wearables that you can use, you know. So this is our way of just coming back, connecting with our audience, connecting with our customers, especially as a CEO and founder. You want to hear directly from me. You want to know exactly why we're doing this, who we're doing this for. So this is good. You're going to see a lot more of this. So the idea is to make sure that we're here for you, our customers. It's aimed at our customers. So if you have a Ruka ring, you can come here and hear directly from me as a CEO and founder. All our founders, our board will also be on these calls. So it's not just, we're just here to take your money like any other bank or fintech. Actually, we're here as a community and you can hear directly from us. So what's Orukka, you might ask me, especially for those who haven't downloaded the app yet. Join us. Orukka is a fitness ring, as I've said, and the idea is to have a payment ring. So in terms of my background, I've been in banking for about 17 years to 18, and I've worked across various banks in Ireland, UK, Switzerland, New York, everywhere basically. And then we wanted to build something new. So I wanted to build something that brings a community together, and this just brought that out. So our idea, again, as I've said, is we want to make sure we're there for our customers. So there'll be a lot of Q&A that my team have already put together for me. And we'll talk about it. We'll address them here. And if you have any questions, just go down to the comment. Just put your comments. We'll be here. It's completely jargon free, so there's no technical information we're putting out here. And we'll make sure everybody that just comes on the app understands plain black and white what it's about. So simple Q&A, nothing is scripted here. Every time we walk, we're going to walk and make sure we find time to talk to you. So the first question, I suppose, is, about myself as a CEO. So again, I've been in banking. My background, in case you can't tell from my accent, is Nigeria. So my parents are Nigerian. I grew up, I was born in Ireland. I grew up in Nigeria and then moved back to Ireland to, start my education, went to UCD, in case there's anyone from UCD out there. I attended UCD and then from there started working in finance. I think back then I might have been the only black person working in the IFSC, which is finance. And I loved that. I loved the challenge of, to just breaking molds, right? And I think that was one of the things that appealed to me in finance as opposed to any other industry, is that your brains come to fact, come to fruition here. No matter your background, if you come in, no matter how rich or poor you are, if you go into banking, it's a fresh slate. You all have to, as long as you're getting through the door, right? But again, that's what I'm here for. So I'm going to encourage people that want to go into banking. You can ask me and I can tell you how to do it. I've also worked in consulting, so I've worked in two of the top four firms. So I've contracted for Deloitte, and Deloitte themselves contract for banks. So I've advised them on that. Also advised other banks, especially Credit Suisse, UBS, and other Swiss banks. And then I think at the end of the financial crisis, I started having my own crisis in terms of building something that's big, that just doesn't just go or just goes after money. And it's the same thing with, I think, Jeff Bezos and a few other people as well. So there's a level you walk up to in finance, and you can check this out. You can know how much salaries Swiss bankers own. So you get to that level, and after a while, you want to build something. And I remember, same thing with Jeff Bezos, right? I talked to my colleagues then and say, hey, I'm going to leave banking and I want to start my own thing. The first question is why? You're making enough money comfortably. So why do you want to leave that and just earn nothing for years, right? And to me, I think it was more or less just about building something that lasts, something that you can look back and be proud of. So I get my bonuses, right, every year, and it's good, right? It was good. But nothing compares to the happiness I felt when the first customer ordered their payment ring. Because that's where someone finds something valuable and orders it. And it's not because they heard from me. Again, we haven't done any marketing. This is us doing marketing to our customers. But I think the idea was just, how happy it was to see one person order a ring because they loved the product so much and paid for it. In fact, I remember that first customer coming in and they were from the UK. I've never been to this part of it, Dagenham, which I've never been to. There's no adverts there, nothing. And this customer ordered three rings right off, the bat, like one white, one black, one pink. I remember I went to the post office myself to post it. And I was delighted and excited. So that's it for me, right? So I think as a founder, I'm happy to create something, to build something. And a lot of a lot of bankers, I think, would have, CEOs who you just never hear from because they have other important things to do. To me, I think the important part is talking to customers, and you would see that all through our product. It's about the customers, and they pay your bills. Not the investors. Investors don't care about the product as much, and we can talk about this. If you check on the episode, I'm going to talk about how to raise money. Right? If you want to start a business, raise money, I can tell you how to do that. And the question now becomes if that's the best, if you should sit and have board meetings with your investors at the expense of your customers. Or if you spend time with your investors and spend time with regulators, then do me a favor, spend time with your customers. And that's free information for you, bankers out there. Please spend time with your customers. We're doing that now. And I think the idea is to continue to do that. There is another question here. So why Orukka? So I think for us, right, and you can always use your banking app. I have a card here, right? Where I have a card. So if you look at your bank cards, right, you have about 20 cards all fit in one. So it's crazy to walk around with so much cards today. So I think for us, we wanted to just have one single payment, right? This is how skinny it is. If you can see, effectively, that's how skinny a ring is. And you just go and you tap to make a payment. So you don't need your phone anymore. You don't need your wallets. So it's about convenience for us, right? You want to be, and you don't need to charge this as well. Unlike your phone, where you need to charge your phone regularly, you don't need to charge these things. And they're what they call passive NFCs. That means the power comes when you tap against a POS device or against the phone. And so we like the idea, and I think the convenience is what's key for our customers today. They don't need to walk around with their wallets or phones anymore. Number one. Number two as well was around security. So why did we do this? So I have one of my good friends, I don't want to call his name out here. He's based in Switzerland, and he came over to London to visit us. And immediately, I think he got into Canary Wharf. And what happened was he went through and he had his phone on him and was, I think, talking to someone or just looking up something online, as you do. And he got stabbed. I think they just about missed his lungs. So they would have punctured his lungs and he would have died. And he just held the phone just because he held it a bit too long. They were going to grab the phone and stab him and run. So that was very risky, and I think that's something over Christmas just made us push through and say, okay, we're going to finish this product. We're going to make sure people don't walk around with their phones anymore because you don't need to. If you look at the history of our phones, we've always had laptops. You've had huge bags that you carry around. That got concised into a laptop. Now your laptop today would have your pictures, would have your phone, would have your banking app, would have as much information as possible. And so for us, then, if you look at what you do, then you move from your laptop to a phone. Now your phone, possibly you're watching this through your phone. Your phone then takes, most of your life effectively. Now, if you walk around with that, you're walking around with your life every time. You go into Tesco's or Sainsbury's or Waitrose or wherever you are in the world, Starbucks, and you tap your phone. And at that point, you're just walking around with your life. So for us, we want to make sure you don't have to do that. You can just tap with your ring and go. And if you look at most of our payments and transactions today, it's about 90% of our transactions are below $100 or sterling or UK or wherever country you're in. We have we make very minor payments, and there's really no need walking around with wallets and phones for minor payments that you do. So I think that's interesting, and again, we're looking forward to working with people. Um, and I have another question here. So, what percentage of people use the ring? We're a startup, okay? So, the question now becomes and there's a question below that as well. What's success for us as the app? Are we successful? Yes, we are, right? So, to me, if you raise 10 million with investors, okay, and this is where raising money comes in. If you raise 10 million with investors, success, if you raise money, means that you need to make 100 million to be successful. Yeah, and your investors will tell you that if I put 1 million in you, I better get 10 million back. But for us, we haven't, and lucky enough, maybe because of my background and my friends as well who've come together to do this, we haven't raised money or millions from anyone. So that means success for us is just creating this app which people use, created rings which people use today. And then if we have 5 people using, we're happy. So I can tell you, we were successful as soon as we had 5 people within 1 week using our rings. That's success. So going forward, again, we have a lot more, and slowly by word of mouth, it's been growing. We're not under any pressure, okay, and we'll continue to support our users as long as possible and towards that success. Success is when a customer comes to you and go, wait, I've got a fitness ring, which, and I kid you not, this is a true story. Customers, you would know yourself when you do this. They came to me and were like, listen, I've got a fitness ring. Can I have a wedding ring on this payment? That to me was the happiest thing ever because again, you have a vision as a founder to say this is what you want to do, create a payment ring. But when customers come in touch and actually use it for more important things and better things, then it permeates their lives, right? That's success. That makes you happy. So I can tell you right now, we have a customer who's got a payment ring, who's got a fitness ring, and who has a wedding ring for him and his wife. And the wedding ring is a payment ring, which we never thought about. So now we've got wedding rings that are now payment rings, which again is a different use case. We're talking to jewelers now, so it's interesting and it's fun in terms of application of what you can do on your fingertips. Okay. And the other point again, how is the team structured? So we're a global team, right? And I'm one who did that as well. So I advise banks on what to do. So I think as a bank, your bank is focus, and there's an episode on what banks do. So banks take your money, okay, deposit it and lend it out, okay, and then they hopefully give you interest. It's quite low these days. And that's what banks do. Fintech, on the other hand, actually should help and sit in front of the bank. So that means they give you a better user experience. Okay. So we're a fintech on one hand, and we're also wearing like a lifestyle because people wear our payments now on their fingers. So we're a fintech that is global and wearable as well. That's what we are. So we're a combination of lifestyle slash fintech app. That means we're available globally. We work with banks across the world. The idea is to make sure that we're there for anybody. So we've got, I think, the most remote place. I don't want to disclose it, but we have a few customers that are remote. We basically have to go beg banks to work with, such that they can use their rings and connect to their bank. So that's interesting, but it's good to know that we're global and we're not locked to any location. And we're happy to work with any bank. So if your card or provider or your bank doesn't work on the app, just let us know. On the app, we will make sure we connect with the bank or talk to the bank and get you up and running so that you're not walking around with your wallet or your bank card anymore. And your bank, I think banks can do this. So there's a question here on, are you going to work with banks? Yes, we're going to work with banks. But can the bank replace us? That's interesting. So here's the point. A bank, a bank is meant, like I say, the core value of a bank is to hold money. Okay. And I advise bankers to do this. No bank should go in and create a payment ring or payment bracelet with Prada, with Gucci. Amex tried that, right? And Amex, I think what they've done is they've partnered with Prada, but Prada actually create the bands. So Prada would have the inventory, they would have the sizing, they would have the designs, they would have the flaws, and then if anything happens, it's Prada that looks at the wearables. The bank just holds the funds. And that's what we do. So we don't hold customers' funds. So the banks should remain doing that. I know at least two banks who tried to copy this idea. One failed, one is still trying. And I can tell you it's not going to go well because obviously you're a bank, you shouldn't be holding rings, right? If you hold rings, then you're already doomed to failure because there are different ring sizes and each customer wants a unique specification, which as a bank, and I'm not nothing against banks, but you just can't fulfill that requirement. You should worry about, getting your funding in place, looking at your risk matrix for each customer, and that should be key. Cool. So lastly, then I think is why are we so successful? So I think again, lastly, we're successful because we focus on our customers. We're always going to be here for our customers. As CEO and founder, I've said it from the start. We are customer focused, and not because we need to, or not because we don't have the money to. We have the money and we can remain forever. But the way I see value in our customers because I repeat, customers pay the bills. An investor could come in and give you 1 million. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm going to spend 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day with that investor. Thanks for your money, but the money is for the customer. So it's about giving a good customer experience. And to me, we should be, all CEOs should be on calls or at least on platforms like this, talking to our customers. If your bank CEO is not talking to you, at least as I'm doing it, then just dump them and come to us. We will have you. You can talk to us, and you can put your comments down here as well. We'll talk to you. We'll discuss. We'll talk about what needs to change, what we need to do better, which bank we need to work with. But in my idea, I think CEOs should spend more time doing this, and that's key. So that's it. I think that's it for this episode. If you ask me, Can't think of any other question. But if you have any questions, guys, just put it on the platform. We'll have this episode at least daily, right? So my approach, I've said this to my team as well, and they're delighted with this. They came up with this idea because we talk so much about what the ring is about, payments, how to grow your career. We talk about this regularly. So I'm like, wait, if we're doing this, right, why don't we do this for our customers? And this was the idea. So I think it's one of the best ideas my team have come up with, and we'll continue to do this as long as possible. So do join, subscribe, and try out the app, try out the ring. It's got, the link should be at the bottom. It's called Orukka, and it's the future. So payments, convenience, and security is key for us, and we'll continue to focus on that. Thank you guys, and see you on the next one.